Hey guys, it's Hyruledad, and welcome to my new little studio, my new little corner. So, haven't made a video in a while, and this is going to be part of the blog series. A couple of changes that I'm going to be making, but overall they're going to be fun, and a lot of people are asking, like, what got you into Zelda? What got you into those kind of games, you know? Well, honestly, when I came over here, I was like 7 or 8. I came over here, and obviously I lived with my aunt. I grew up with my aunt, and she adopted me, and you know, that's how I came to live over here. And you know, in that process, you know, I had my cousin, who he's my older brother, and you know, we got a Nintendo, and eventually a friend of mine lent me a gold cartridge, and that's where it all started. Actually, I lie. It started because I had a Star Fox watch that I remember I ordered, a little Star Fox watch. I don't remember how I ordered it. It was one of those LED watches, and he had a Zelda watch, and I played it, and I really liked it. And he told me that he had a game, and he lent it to me. And oh my goodness, it was so good. It was so, I've never played something like that, to where I actually used my Nintendo Power to be able to maneuver around that stuff, right? And so Zelda has been something very special for me. You know, during the good times and the bad times, I've had this game, and it's something that a lot of people don't share. Why I have the name as Hyruledad. As you know, I'm a dad, and I have my 2 kids, and I love my 2 kids. My puppy is one of my kids. And you know, as I grew older, I kept playing the games. You know, I remember my first Zelda game that I actually owned, because the first Zelda I played, I beat it, but you know, I kind of don't count it because I kind of didn't know what the story was about. Zelda 2 I didn't play. I didn't play until years later, which I beat. It's really frustrating, and I don't want to put myself through that pain anymore. But then it was the magical game of it all, Link's Awakening. Amazing game. And that was the game that my mom bought me on the Game Boy. She actually bought me like a little bundle of, and it had Tetris, it had Legend of Zelda, and it had my Game Boy. That was my first experience that I can honestly say, besides playing Zelda 1 on the NES, where I think the Legend of Zelda was really refined. A lot of little things that were there. I mean, I hear there was a side project that people were doing while they were working on A Link to the Past, and I've always had a connection to these games. Example, you know, when I think of the NES games, you know, I think about, you know, oh my God, you know, I found this cave in this area. Where? Well, you have to go 3 screens right and 2 screens up, and then you see a tree there, and it's the 3rd tree to the right. You know, you put your candle there. You know, we all figured out what the hell the candle did, because none of us knew what it did, and we finally figured out that you could burn bushes, or you can burn trees, and with a bomb you can, you know, bomb. And oh my God, there's this rock, and you know, we found a code that if you go up to this rock, and you bomb the one on the right or the left, you know, you'll find something there. You know, and trying to get the magic sword and everything. You know, Link's Awakening was given to me by my mom, and that was the first Game Boy game I had. That was probably the very first Zelda game that I think I beat, and I was actually very proud of my accomplishment. That game had Yoshi. That game had I mean, even the little collector's quest where you have to go in and give some guy vittles, you know, vittles. I don't know. I don't know if it's a Latin word. Anyways, back to the story. So she gave me that game. Very special game for me. I still have it in my collection. The Game Boy. I don't know where it went. That thing might have gotten lost or given away to somebody, but I have the game somewhere. in my massiveness of Zelda stuff. Um, and then after that, I I beat that game. My grandma, who she passed away in 2000. She bought me whenever I got the Super Nintendo. She bought me A Link to the Past. You know, and A Link to the Past was another game that that my grandma bought me. So it's a game. Sadly, I don't have that game in my collection anymore. Um, it got lost, and I hope someday I will find it. That person that has it finds it. Because I took it to her collection. I took it so I could play with her Super Nintendo, and it just got lost in a mess. So, but again, that game, I hold deep memories to that game. Even, I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be that game, that physical cartridge, but just the game itself brings memories to my grandma. Um, then we start going into, other Zelda games, Um, from there, we go to the Ocarina of Time, and actually going back to Link's Awakening. Actually, one of my cousins helped me. I remember he beat it before I did, and I got stuck in a couple of puzzles. So I went over to his house. So at the time, my neighbor was next to me, and at my mom's house, and I went and visited him, and he would help me with it. So Cesar, if you're watching, I appreciate that. And then we move forward to Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons. Those games remind me a lot of my godmother, who passed away around that time that I had those games. And those games were very special to me because I played them, and something that my godmother gave me. So as she passed away, she passed away. I had the games, I played them, and they helped me get through that really hard point. Same thing with while my grandma passed away. I actually went back and played it as a way to mourn, and to relive the what I felt. Come to later on the Ocarina of Time. I remember I didn't know that game was out yet. I had the N64. At that time I wasn't playing too many video games. I think I was entering high school, and one of my cousins had it, and I was like, "What is this?" And she's like, "It's a 3D Zelda." I was like, "What? What?" And yeah, it's like the next day. Like I'm pretty good about saving money, so I went and got it, and I beat it. I'd be over the phone with a girlfriend I had of mine in high school, and she'd be getting mad at me because I'd be not paying attention to her because I'd be trying to beat this game. And I beat it, passed it, beat it, passed it, beat it, passed it. Majora's Mask, that's another weird one. Majora's Mask reminds me a lot of a dark time, around the time that my dad passed away. I played that game, and it was a very dark time for me, and Majora's Mask actually kind of helped me through it, because that game relates so much to death and so much to letting go. And that game actually, if you've ever played it, there's a certain part where the girl, her dad is a zombie, and or it's a mummy, and you can kind of like rescue him, and it's very touching, and trying to save everybody, knowing that ultimately you have to go back in time and undo what you did, and then you can't save everybody, and that's just something you have to accept, was just mind-blowing. So I relate that game a lot to that, right? Wind Waker was about the time that I graduated from high school. My ex-wife, I actually ordered that game, and my ex-wife watched me play that game. The Wind Waker for me is my favorite game, and the Wind Waker for me is because it was a time when I graduated, when I had moved out, and it was a sense of freedom, and it was a sense of comfort. I was out on my own, but there was that sense of comfort that I had with Wind Waker, of that there's a Zelda game with me. And while the transition, I mean, a lot of people will easily say, hey, I moved out, no. I don't know about you, but for Mexican kids, it's different. I mean, Mexicans, they grow, and then la suegra, I'm the suegra, la vecina is your aunt. Over here is your cousin. That house across the street is your uncle. So, everybody's close together. So that game actually helped me through, getting past that barrier, being on my own, kind of being like in an ocean, just trying to survive, trying to be on your own, So I play that game quite a bit, actually, and that's one of my favorite games to play. As the Twilight Princess was an interesting game. That game reminds me, or that game came at a point where the Wii came out, right? And my daughter was born. And, I was able to snag a copy of it on launch and everything. And the Wii. That game has two things for me. One, when my daughter was born, she weighed 3 pounds, and she was tiny. Like, I could fit her face here, and her feet were like right here. Like she was a tiny little thing. That and me realizing, making a big career move. I went from working in pharmacy, dropping out of pharmacy school, so my ex-wife can finish her schooling, and concentrated on worked at CompUSA, where I got Apple certified, and where I actually started getting into technology. I'm Cisco certified. I have Microsoft certified professional. I have A+, CompTIA Project Plus. I have a whole bunch of certifications, but that was my first step into technology. Okay. Skyward Sword helped me through my first divorce. Skyward Sword was there. I remember I bought it, and I remember I didn't really start playing it until my ex-wife wanted a divorce, and it was very hard. It was very hard for me to get through, especially because she had already found somebody else right away, and within days of me moving out, and another guy moved into the house that I was planning to buy. So I was I was hurting. It was hurting a lot. And I'm not a bad person. I'm not. I don't try to burn people. I've always tried to be encouraging, and I always try to be loving and respectful, which I do to my family and everybody that's around me. I'm a pretty chippy kind of guy. I try to be. I have my own issues, right, with anxiety and stuff, but I try to be. So Twilight Princess, I relate a lot of that to a change in lifestyle, a change in careers, and Skyward Sword. I relate that as it helped me get through my divorce. It sounds so weird, but in my life, for some reason, Zelda games have come out during really hard points in my life. When I got let go of my previous employer, and I explained that story beforehand, where my former employer, the director, who I thought was a friend of mine, knew that I could have gotten fired, and which I did get fired, and I got fired for helping them out. It was conflict of interest, and I only did it because I love my team, and I talked about it before. But what I had in that month was March. It was March of 2017. So what did I have to kind of get me through that pain? I had Breath of the Wild, and it's another game that helped me through a certain hard part of my life. which is why I mean, which is why I love Zelda so much, because I'm so personally intertwined, me myself, with Zelda, just because Zelda to me has been something of an escape, um, for many reasons. I know I didn't talk a lot about other games, but I mean a lot of the games have been in my life. I mean, Triforce Heroes, you know, was at a time when I was trying to really, fix things, really try to get things done, you know. Um, and now at this point, with certain life changes that I'll discuss in the future, you know. Um, I have Zelda DLC that I haven't played, and I'm trying to concentrate on homework because I'm almost done. God willing, I'll be done in by December at the latest. I'll be in network security. I have a bachelor's in science, in science, technology, network, cyber security, bloody, whatever. I don't know. It's a long name. It's a legit cert. It's a legit degree though. Like, I mean, these are the people that will secure your bank transactions. They'll make sure you don't get hacked. So I'll be there taking care of you. Shh, you. So that's what I'm doing right now, right? And as you see, I mean, this is my new area, my new studio, and yeah, it's fun, it's great, and like I said, a lot of people have asked me, they'll tease me. Oh, hold on, I need to get a drink of water. My throat is drying up. Give me a second here. I'm so thirsty. Oh, I'm so parched. I'm so parched. Why does water taste so good? I'm kidding, it's long on milk. So yeah, and for Eiji Onuma, and for Miyamoto, I know that Iwata actually died on my birthday, which kind of sucked because I really loved Iwata. But I mean, they've created such magical moments in my life during crisis. Maybe it has something to do also with God, how God knows how their struggles coming, and he sets things. I mean, only God knows, right? And I mean, right now, not a crisis per se, but right now there are some things in motion. There are some things that are changing. There are some things that are going on in my life. Obviously, I do want to pay attention to this channel a lot more, but with certain things, I have to keep an eye out on a lot of stuff. But that is why I'm Hyruledad. This is why I'm into Zelda so much. This is why I heart Zelda. And it's not just that I'm a fanboy. It's I've been there since the beginning. I've been there since the gold cartridges. I've been there since the Game Boy games. I had the Wii Blaster game. Somewhere I have it here. Hyrule Warriors, that was, a lot of people hated on it. I loved it. I bought all the DLC for it, and I have it reserved again for the Switch, and I'm gonna play it again because Link Gold is hot. And yeah, guys, that is why I'm Hyruledad. So I want you guys to know that I love you, and remember that God is there. And God, something I love about God is that it doesn't matter what you do, and you might be lost and you might be feeling lost. Just know that you're not. God never gives you more than you can handle. And if you feel that there's a lot on your plate, reach out. Right now I'm reaching out, and and I've reached out, and God has given me Zelda. God has given me my mom, and my kids. I love my kids so much. I mean, my kids, I try to share my lifestyle of technology, of responsibility with my kids, because we come from a family of nothing into something, and I believe right now God is molding me into something much greater. God will probably mold this channel into something much greater, because I'm trying to mold it not only into just video games, but actually real talk, real, well, what it means to be a human, what it means to be a real person. And then they've asked me, why do you like Zelda so much? What is it about Zelda that you like so much? I mean, besides it being the best game ever made, Ocarina of Time or Breath of the Wild for that matter is crazy insane. You know, during another hard point in my life, I have all that DLC to play, and even though things I think are unfair, things I think are really hard to handle, God is there. And may it be anything, know that God loves you, know that I love you. You're my Hyrule kids. And as I work on a new intro, as I work on bringing some new content, I mean, I have a whole ton of video games that I still have recordings and reviewed on. You'll see this grow more. So, anyways, guys, love you. God bless. Leave a comment, subscribe, anything you guys want to talk about, and we'll do a little sit down. We'll do a couple of unboxings of a couple of stuff, and like I said, it's my new little corner. And I have my Alienware, I have my amiibos, I have my 3 monitors, all my good stuff here. So I love you guys, and God bless you guys. Bye.